All right, everyone. So it looks like another caravan of thousands of migrants are trying to reach the United States. The Guatemalan military has been supposedly trying to prevent these people from leaving Guatemala. But all of these media outlets are talking about it. They're talking about this migrant caravan with 9,000 migrants from Guatemala trying to reach the United States. They are U.S. bound. They are a U.S. bound caravan. Of course, it's making the rounds in all of the conservative media outlets, Fox News, the Daily Mail, etc. The blogosphere has been talking a lot about this. And of course, the conservatives, the right wing, they're going to say that it's an invasion and et cetera, et cetera. But here is the thing. The conservative media outlets like Fox News, Daily Mail, what they are saying about this caravan is very it's very effective in getting people upset, because both of these websites present a quote from a non-profit organization called Pueblo Sin Fronteras, which means Village Without Borders. And the statement essentially says, well, because Trump is leaving, we now have hope that America will be more welcoming for these migrants. So we all know what this means, everyone. If this caravan is not stopped by either the Guatemalan military or the Mexican military, and if they reach the border, and if they start dealing with American Border Patrol, and by dealing with, I mean having problems with the American Border Patrol, trying to get past the American Border Patrol, or, applying or trying to apply for asylum at the American border, it is going to be a huge hot button issue yet again. And it's going to be like we're in 2018. And what's going to make this story even more controversial is COVID. Because now, and you watch, the very conservatives and righties who for the whole year, the whole time that COVID has been killing people, all the conservatives and righties who this whole time have been saying that COVID is a hoax, COVID is not a threat, open everything back up, all these people who have been saying this, watch, these very same people are going to start saying, shut the border down, don't allow these migrants any entry, don't allow them any sort of asylum, because we are in the middle of a pandemic, can't you see? And you are going to see overnight, if this caravan situation becomes serious, you are going to see overnight the righties, well, they're going to start following all of the CDC guidelines. They're going to be talking about the dangers of COVID. You're going to be seeing them overnight switching their narrative from COVID isn't a threat, it's a hoax. Don't worry about it, guys. All this mask stuff, it's just a big ploy by George Soros and the what do they call it? The Economic Forum or whatever. It's a conspiracy by the royal family or whatever. You're going to start seeing those guys talk about, well, we can't let these migrants in. Can't let these migrants in. I mean, we're in the middle of a pandemic. Can't we see that? Now, I will say this. I will say that if people say, hey, listen, we shouldn't bring these migrants in because of coronavirus, I would agree with that. Even though these righties, a lot of them would be hypocritical to say, well, COVID is a threat, because they've been saying this whole time that it's not a threat and that mask rules are, tyranny or whatever. Even though that is the case, I would still agree with that, because we are in the middle of a pandemic and we shouldn't be allowing people coming in by the thousands into the United States. Even if, and I've already read this, even if supposedly a lot of these migrants are not infected with COVID, I would still agree with not allowing people in by the thousands into the United States, because of the fact that we are in a pandemic and it is dangerous. So I would agree with that. But still, the reality stands that if the caravan issue pops up again, and this caravan of thousands of migrants comes in or tries to come into the United States, you'll start hearing people talk about, well, COVID, they're going to bring disease. They're going to bring disease. And it's going to be like we're in 2018 and 2015 and 2014 all over again. Remember in 2014, 2015, we had the migrant crisis in Europe. 2018, we had the caravan crisis, the caravan scenario in the United States. And if this caravan thing continues on, what would most likely happen is the caravan will get larger. And that, because that's what happened in 2018. The caravan started getting larger. All of a sudden it was, well, there's a third caravan, there's a fourth caravan, there's thousands and thousands and thousands upon thousands of these people wanting to get into the United States because they're trying to flee their gang-ridden countries of Central America. Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, all of these countries are very violent countries. They have huge murder rates. I don't blame these people for wanting to leave their countries. And at the same time, I will say that these people, if they get close to the U.S. border, they will become propaganda fodder for both the left and the right. The left is going to say, well, these poor people are going to come in, and watch, the lefties, they'll probably start saying things like, well, actually, these people, there's no evidence that these people have COVID. Is there a study for that? And they're going to start pushing for opening up the borders for these people. And then the righties are going to be the aggressive response to that. And they're going to be saying, well, we can't allow these people in, et cetera, et cetera. And then they're going to start bringing up the conspiracy theories. Well, this is a Soros-funded plot to destroy the white race in the country and to try to get us to become diluted with third world genetics or whatever. Like they'll start, you'll start, seeing people on the internet pushing this sort of rhetoric. It's all over the internets, my friend. The internet is a very, very dark place. It's a very enlightening place at the same time because you can learn so much. You learn so much, not just about, particular topics like, well, any topic, really, history, geopolitics, etc. But it's also it's enlightening in the sense that we can learn a lot about human behavior on the internet, because when people are behind that screen, they in a way expose their true selves because they're not exposing their identities. They're not showing their real names. They're not necessarily showing their real faces, and they can write what they really, really feel. It's almost like there is this paradox, between the real life world and the internet world. It's like, you're in real life and you meet people, random people. You meet random strangers in the grocery store, and it's like, oh, how are you doing? Oh, I'm fine. Oh, okay, blah, 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 blah. You don't know what kind of life those people live. They could be on the internet on 4chan expressing all sorts of vitriolic and egregious ideas. But if this caravan issue becomes big again, watch. You watch. The righties are going to be up in arms over it, and most likely the Democrats will start expressing sympathy for these people, and they'll say, well, can't be racist, etc. Liberals will start talking like this. SJWs on the internet will start talking like this, and it's just going to further expose America's vicious polarization. And I'm telling you, I'm telling you, man, the Biden administration is going to be a presidential term of political insanity. It's going to be a window of opportunity. It's going to be a duration of time, at least 4 years, in which the Republicans can really inculcate their ideas and really show people their propaganda. And they're going to be spreading it all over the internet. I'm already seeing it. I've already been seeing it for a long time with all these weird commercials for the Epic Times, some crazy CIA front. But if I had to put my conspiracy theory hat on about this story, man, I'm telling you, it's a weird coincidence that this stuff pops up right now, like right before the inauguration. You know, we're just days away from the inauguration of Joe Biden. We're just days away before Trump finally leaves the presidential office, and we have a story about a caravan already. It's too convenient for the Republicans, too convenient for the right wing that this happens. Could be a conspiracy, could be a coincidence, but nonetheless, if it's a coincidence, which is the most practical explanation, because conspiracies never happen. It would be it would be a very convenient coincidence for the Republicans, because now they can say, well, look, Biden, he wants to let all these people in, and we're in the middle of a pandemic, All of a sudden, the righties will become mask-wearing, CDC following good Americans. Anyway, yeah, that's my thoughts on this. You guys just heard some theology. God bless.